tackling untruths at the United Nations. Before we proceed further, I want you to take a look at a quick video. Here we go.
Here I am in the city of Geneva. You can see the United Nations Human Rights Commission building right here, UNHCR, and here is the ITU. This is WIPO, and here is the United Nations right in front of me with the iconic broken chair. And then let's look at this. This is something I really hate. I look at this every time when I go to my institute, and I know that this is wrong at multiple levels. Indian Christians are not facing state-sponsored terrorism, and then about lynching Indian minorities, and India no to terror attacks on minorities. I really don't know where this comes from, but this is repeatedly what is portrayed here.
This is not the only place. You will see similar stuff whenever the Prime Minister comes visiting United States. I was witness to that way back in 2015 when there were, these Khalistan 2020 referendum people, and they'll bring in a bunch of other lumpens together. They all form this shouting squad. They'll make noises. They even tried to fly an airplane with a streamer saying Khalistan 2020 right above where Modi ji was giving a speech in Facebook campus. Unfortunately for them, the banner did not deploy, but they still wanted to create noise. So they just kept circling over the place where the speech was being given. So India ignored it, of course, but is ignoring the right thing to do. There are two ways to look at it. One is that India sets right the narrative by giving proof of what is opposite or the reality of the situation in India to all the different countries. This is like a diplomatic offensive and try to say that, look, this is not right. But then the problem is not people outside of India. The problem is those of us who are from India. We are at the forefront of some of these demonstrations. So how does one tackle this? Why does the Khalistani feel that he doesn't belong to Hinduism or a part of India? What is wrong? Does he not remember the kind of treatment that was meted out at partition time? Well, these are questions that are uncomfortable. How right or wrong is it to bring a sacred sacrament such as the Guru Granth and try to free a criminal who's being held for charges? See, these are all things that have to be also shown that India is a law-abiding country and the law stands above everybody and the law is the same for all. I mean, each one of these things, of course, has some fault lines and that needs to be fixed too. But you have to start somewhere. I have been saying for the longest time, the law and order has to be the same for everyone in India. A lot of these things would not happen if that had happened. The police heavily compromised. I can't tell you enough about the kind of challenges that the police is facing. At the same time, they also are guilty in this. You shouldn't be paying money, a bribe to get posting in a particular place because those places are cash cows. So aren't you already getting a salary from the government? So, I mean, we can go back and forth. Let's get back to the main point. What should India do? That's one side, diplomatic offensive, trying to set their point across. The other thing that India could say is today, the world is not a globalized world. It's a multilateralism, bilateral relations. So it doesn't really make sense for India to be part of United Nations anymore. The first thing India can do is selectively start exiting some nonsensical organizations where it's sure that the deck is loaded against India. For instance, the UN Human Rights Commission. And I'm going to give you a detailed story about how many, like close to 80 to 90% of people who are getting refugee entry into United States and the Western Europe with full voting rights and full citizenship, they're all fake. But nobody seems to be doing anything about it. So these are all problems that India can highlight and say this has lost its meaning. So we are going to be withdrawing from this organization and this organization and then ignore whatever blowback that comes from that. You take away the oxygen. So these are things that India should consider. I don't know if there will be a debate in the mainstream media about what should India do to combat the untruths that are being parlayed in the United Nations. First of all, shame on us, some of us who are trying to take an anti-India stance when we fully know that what we are saying is blatantly wrong, including the ones that have been asking for caste discrimination in a country like United States. This joke has gone on for too long. By the way, viewers, there is a law already in place in United Kingdom about caste, and unfortunately or fortunately, in the UK, in its wisdom, realize that it's going to cause more problems trying to implement it than not do anything at all, and they are doing nothing about it. So this is something that the people who are going to be voting, such as the San Francisco City Council, I'm told, they should look at what happened in United Kingdom. And this is just nonsense because it's based on lies. You cannot implement it. Anyway, my two cents is this way or that way. Which way will the government decide to go? We'll have to wait and see. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.